Oh, hello. I'm Ryan.
Oh, why hello there. I'm Steve. You're listening to 60 Cycle Hum, the guitar buying, selling, trading, modding, fixing, breaking, reviewing, playing podcast. That was a little too
It was a little too good,
it
Steve.
was a little too Kevin Pollak.
Hmm.
Been listening to a few different podcasts where they are advertising for Kevin Pollak's new podcast. He's a comedian.
He's a
guess?
comedian?
He's an
Yeah.
actor.
I don't know.
He's in some movies that he's one of those character actor guys.
I don't know why you're bringing this up.
Because that's how he starts his advertisement is, oh, hello there. I'm
Oh,
Kevin
okay.
Pollak.
I don't know. I haven't listened to his show.
I haven't listened to his show either. I've only heard the ads.
All right.
Anyway, what's new, Ryan?
I just want to say that Duplo is like Legos for little kids. If we're going to be off topic,
What is that from?
it's from the Guitar Nerds.
Oh, right. That's better than Do you love fresh squeezed 100% organic GMO free whatever Florida orange juice?
We have to tell you it's so good because it's so good.
Simply Juice, the juice that keeps on juicing.
Obviously, the advertisements are working. We've remembered them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good for those guys for making money. We make money too. Only our sponsors are gear related.
Yeah.
Suck it, boys. All right. You got anything new, Steve?
No, I don't. I just did like the double guns thing. That's new.
Bang, bang.
That's a
This
new thing.
double guns is not new, Steve.
It's new for me.
Did you just learn about it or you just decided to start using
Just
it?
decided to start using it.
Okay. Well, you want to ask me what's new?
I
then?
did ask you what's new, and then you decided to go into the stupid orange juice commercial.
I've got earplugs.
Are they in right now? Because you don't seem to be hearing me clearly.
On an episode a few weeks back, I mentioned that I needed
Yeah, you were
earplug solutions.
you were complaining about making yourself deaf. That
Yes,
is true.
And a lot of people suggested these erasers. Mm-hmm. So I bought a pair. They're $40. They're expensive
Good
earplugs.
grief. Can I take a look
Yeah,
at those?
take a look at them. Those have been in my ears. If you don't put them in your mouth, is what I'm saying.
Oh, these ones. I remember these.
I'm pretty shocked how good they are. They barely feel like they're in my ear at all, meaning that they're like very comfortable. They just fit in there very nicely.
Do these have like the swappable filter or no?
No.
It's just one.
Yeah, they just as they come. But man, I tell you, you can hear everything with them in. I've been cranking my amps lately in ways that I never cranked them before because it was too uncomfortable. Like you can see my amps are like right next to me when I do demos in here. And so I usually run them really pretty low. I can kind of juice them a little bit now and be very comfortable and not get the bad tickle at all, but still feel like I'm getting the full frequency range and still be physically comfortable within my ear versus the heroes that I had before, which felt like shoving like a corn cob in my ear.
I need to find. So I'm assuming you're going to take those with you to NAMM.
Yeah, I'll take these with me.
Yeah, I need to find some earplugs. I'm trying to figure out.
They don't go into the little part of your ear canal. They sit in the first initial opening.
Right.
Which is interesting. It took me a while to figure that out. I was trying to shove them in deeper than they needed to go.
Oh.
And once I figured out, they're supposed to sit in this area because they're that shape, then everything started making sense. But yeah, I'm really impressed with them. I could definitely say that I support these things. Like what's the word? I endorse them.
Endorse them.
I don't have any agreement with these people. I've never talked to them in my life, but yeah, and they're the right size for my ear too. The small size.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're great. I'm really really pleased with them.
I need to figure out. I need to figure out how I'm not traveling like from terms of transport, but in terms of what I'm bringing into NAMM.
Right.
I think earplugs are like a pocket carry. Those won't even go. But I'm wondering if I want to wear a backpack, if I want to go light, if I bring a backpack, do I just want to dump it at the booth?
Last year I was going pretty light. I wasn't planning on getting content on the floor for the most part because I did the first day of just getting content hard, and then I just smoothed the rest of the weekend. I didn't bring anything with me. I just grabbed like a bag from the orange booth every day and just threw stuff in there. And then like most of it was just like, I don't care if I lose this. I'm putting it down places and not carrying. And
yeah, I'm trying to figure out like if I want to bring shirts on the floor, like anything like that. And if I do, then the question is like, how many, like, what do I carry? Because I don't want to bring on like a full JanSport. I was thinking about maybe trying to see how many shirts I can shove into the music area effects bag.
Ah, yeah.
Which is a nice little compact backpack. But I don't know. I mean, I guess
You know that
I
I'm
got
going to
some
be at a
time.
booth. You can leave.
Yeah.
You can leave
Yeah.
stuff with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But part of me wants to just bring the shirt bin and get rid of them all.
You should definitely bring as many stickers as you can. Oh, give one more shirt to me. I want to wear one of our shirts all 3 days that I'm working that booth. And
Okay.
I've only got 2 right now.
Okay.
So give me a third. And
Well, what you do is you wear the first one.
so guys, keep an eye out for Steve on the floor at NAMM. He'll give you something apparently.
Yeah.
Shirts or stickers.
I may
Because we're moving over.
stickers for if I'm going to be carrying stickers, then for sure I'm going to need a backpack.
I think I'm going to have stickers at the booth with me. Like
Yeah.
come to the booth and I'll have a pile of stickers and you can grab a sticker. if you
And we're
want.
going to have we'll have some. I'll be on the floor some days. I think there's one day where you said that at least when we talked about it before, you wanted me to be at the booth all day doing meet and greet stuff or
Not
something.
all
but I
day,
don't-
but you know, if you
for
got
like most of it, or
nothing to
something.
do, come hang out at the booth and
Well, it's
you
NAMM.
know,
There's nothing to do.
rep
I mean,
rep the podcast because
yeah.
I'm going to be shooting demos.
Sup, y'all? This is Steve from 60 Cycle Hum. You want to smoke a blunt?
Then you're going to have to go get one
Yeah.
because I don't have one.
Also, this is indoors. That's weird.
Yeah, no one's going to be very happy
Weirdos.
if you do that here.
All right, yeah. So I gotta figure that out. We'll figure that out. That's offline. Offline chat. You got anything else?
I got another Harley Benton guitar in.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, it's the kind of like what do they call the Catalina?
Oh,
Or-
Cabernita.
Cabernita. It's like-
Cabernita is a single knob with just a 3-way switch.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Well, it's
So it's
kind of
even
that,
simpler than that.
It's got that style with the Gretsch style pickups in there. I really like that thing. I'm gonna flat out say that I think it's the best of the 3 Harley Benton
which
guitars
is
that I've got so
that
far.
one, which is the Mustang style and the Fusion, right?
And the Fusion, which is like the shreddy Floyd Rose
is
style one.
is that you think that semi hollow is ever going to show up?
I have no idea. I ordered basically like a 335 style,
Right.
And they haven't had it in stock at all. So I have no idea if it's ever showing up. We'll see, I guess. But I can definitely endorse that Telecaster style one that I got from them. It's great.
One of the YouTube comments on that cracked me up was the guy who's like, "Oh, you got yours already? I ordered mine like a month ago. Oh, they're taking care of the Americans first." And I replied like some comment like that, like
Yeah.
And I think it was like half joking.
Sure.
But
it
it was
was
like-
the guy was being funny.
Yeah, but I was like, yeah, people have been waiting for this for like 6 months.
Yeah, but to be fair, I was waiting for it to come with another guitar that apparently
That's
has
true. That's
not
true.
been delivered to them yet.
So, but yeah, no, I got to mess around with it a little before we started recording.
It's a really great natural player. Really light touch play to it. Really resonant.
Mm-hmm.
It likes to be strummed. It likes to do lead stuff, and I think the pickups sound really good. Like I'd be tempted to just scalp the pickups out of there and throw them in something else someday.
Throw it in your contemporary.
Nah, I like the pickups in that too. I don't know. I don't know. It's a keeper. I'm gonna say that. I can't say for sure that I'm gonna keep the Mustang style one. I'm probably not gonna keep the Fusion forever.
Is that
No, it's up
not
in my office. But I think that the Tele one is a key. Suddenly, I have all these Telecasters around,
Yeah.
and I'm not I'm not technically a Telecaster
How
guy.
many do you have? Technically 3.
3?
Plus the Eastwood, which is a Telecaster configuration.
That's in the other room. I've got all these Telecasters now, guys. I could put a Telecaster style pickguard in the Titan too.
Yeah, that's true. You have a Telecaster style pickguard. Well, it's a humbucker bridge, a humbucker.
Yeah,
neck?
it's a mini bucker in the neck and then a bridge Tele. I was thinking I should try to sell that pickguard now that I've got the Jennings. I don't need that anymore.
eBay. Or Reverb.
No, I bet I could sell it in the Titan community.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there's a Titan group. I could
Tell
sell
people
direct
you
to
would
those
sign
guys.
it. Tell them that your signature is more valuable than Doug Cower's.
Tell them that I won't sign it, and then they'll buy it. Should we get into the first ad?
Yeah, this first ad was sent by Kyle Jackson. It says guitar reverb pedal and preamp. Boss RV5 reverb pedal and LR Bags preamp. A great combo for getting a good sound out of your flute playing.
Finally, I can never nail that flute tone when I'm running into my amp, you know?
I don't even understand, like, how do you plug a flute into this?
Well, the LR Bags has a XLR in.
That's an XLR out.
Oh, shoot.
If there's an XLR in, I don't...
I'm assuming that there's some sort of microphone that is made specifically for a flute that clips on somewhere and then probably has a 1/4 inch out.
Yeah, I have no idea.
So it must be that sort of situation. I just thought that this ad reminded me of the time I bought a delay pedal from a keyboard player.
Was that DD3?
Nope. It was a DoD tape echo thing.
Oh, the purple one.
The purple one. I had that super long ago.
I think it's a F. Is that the FX96 or the FX69?
Something like that. I want to say
I'm
it was
not
the
gonna look it
96. But I couldn't figure out how to get a good sound out of it because I just was not in the headspace and then time of my life to wrap my head around a tape echo. So I was like, oh, this is just kind of dark and murky. I'm going to get rid of it.
I remember, well, that was during a time when digital delays were definitely more popular.
Right.
And I also remember you putting a battery in that delay.
Oh, it sucked batteries so fast.
And then being like, I hate this thing. It only lasts like 45 minutes or something stupid on a battery. Like, I think it was maybe like 2 hours.
Well, those were the days when I was running basically straight into an amp and I had a TU2 in between me and the amp. And that's it. And it would run on a 9-volt for like 9 months.
Yeah. And so you put your 9-volt in that thing, and between like Wednesday practice and Sunday church, it would die.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough time off of it to actually learn how to use it.
And I was like, yeah, man, you need a power supply. Batteries delays are awful on batteries.
I was nowhere near the headspace of putting together pedal boards or powering things or anything of that nature. It's a totally different time for me. I bet if I kept that pedal, I'd be like singing its praises.
Yeah,
these days. Like, oh, it's such an underrated.
Don't get a carbon copy. Get this.
Don't get the new Strymon. This DoD is the tape echo for you.
Dodd.
How many times are we going to diss on the guitar nerds in this episode? Are any of them going to NAMM?
I imagine think Matt and Jay are.
Yeah.
Joe said in a recent episode, I haven't listened to every episode just because.
And Matt is right out
swimming. Mark, I'm not sure about Mark.
Mark.
But
we said Matt. I said Matt twice.
Joe said that he already traveled too much for the company in 2018. And so they won't let him travel anymore.
Oh my gosh.
They've like suspended his travel privileges. I don't know how accurate that is.
I feel like that's me this year. Like I traveled so much last year. I'm not going anywhere this year.
You know,
but that's my own sort of thing that I'm imposing on myself.
We were talking about, I don't even know what I was talking about in some group, and Brant Miller was like, so you coming to Gear Fest this year? What's it going to take to get you to Gear Fest this year?
You?
Yeah, me.
Well, if you want to go.
I know you figure that out.
It's not hard. We've got budget.
Well, it's
in
not
the coffers thanks to the inner circle.
That for that side of it, it's not hard. What's hard is, hey Melissa, I'm gonna go to Indiana for like 3 or 4 days.
Right.
Or whatever.
Take her with you.
I could probably organize.
You got to pay for that out of pocket though.
I still might be able to pull that off.
It wouldn't be expensive. It's kind of a cute. It's kind of like a cute area, and
it's
there's
expensive. It's 3 additional plane tickets.
I know.
Unless I drove.
Leave the kids behind, dude.
Oh yeah. They'll just stay at home by themselves.
Leave them with the grandparents.
My grandparents can't keep up with my kids. They're old.
Your kids are that old? Jeez.
My 4-year-old is.
Yeah, I wouldn't wish a 4-year-old on anyone.
My 4-year-old has the strength of a 15-year-old. Like my 4-year-old weighs like 50 pounds.
Yeah. She's probably stronger than me.
My 4-year-old is might quite literally be one of the youngest children of our children's group. Not counting like the actual infants. Actually, not counting the actual infants, she is like the youngest, but she's also like the second largest.
This is a children's group at like your church or something?
No, like of our friends.
Oh, of our friends. Yeah, I guess so.
Like I think she's actually like the third largest, but she's the
I
youngest.
honestly haven't weighed her or
No,
compared.
So
anyways,
she's a brute force, not to be reckoned with.
back to this ad. We've got an RV5.
225 for this deal for RV5 and an LR Bags Paracoustic DI. Do you know
We
anything
went
about
way
those?
off topic for a
I
long
know,
time.
man. What is up with that?
This is the second episode of the night, and we've been drinking 7s and 7s. Yeah, I have no idea if this is a good deal. It seems like the sort of deal that a flute player would try to like
Oh my god.
push on you. Like, oh, I paid $250 for these. I'm gonna make a real good deal. Sell for $225.
These LR Bags boxes are like $190 new, but you can get them as low as $115 on Reverb. The RV5, I think I sold an RV5 recently for like $80, $90, something like that.
They're in the neighborhood,
Yeah. This isn't as poorly priced as I thought,
but it's like
but it's not great.
I think they'd be better off parting it out, honestly, instead of
yeah.
trying to sell them both at the same time. Like you're not going to find, you're going to find a lot more guitarists looking for that digital reverb than flautists.
Well, so that's the funny thing is like, so this is a acoustic DI for like an acoustic guitar. Basically, it's like if you have a pickup, no preamp situation,
Right.
You just have a basic passive preamp or a basic passive pickup, or maybe an active pickup that has no EQ controls. You run it into this, or like, you're using like a tiny little microphone. You run it into this. And then a Boss Digital Reverb. It's like a nice like coffee shop acoustic rig.
Yeah, and I bet a flute would sound great through these. Let's be honest. Do you think a flute would sound good through these?
I'm trying to think of the last time I heard flute in a musical context that I cared about.
Oh, that you cared about. I'm seeing these microphone rigs for flutes.
Oh, there's a Barkus Berry flute pickup. That's
see what that looks
interesting.
like.
Well, that comes with a preamp. It's at
Have you-
Sam Ash.
Have you heard of Barkus Berry? What is Barkus
Yeah,
Berry?
Barkus Berry's a pickup company.
How do I get-
They're like a general acoustic instruments pickup company. They actually built a piano pickup
Okay.
that you would affix to the bottom of a piano harp board, and go from there. So they're known. They are like Barkus Berry. You're talking about like acoustic guitar pickup systems, like not odd, but like other stringed instrument, non-guitar bass pickup systems, like transducer systems, things like that.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm seeing various systems that go to an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch jack for miking up a flute or for having a pickup on a flute. I don't know, but it sounds great. Flute's a beautiful instrument. I would love to run a flute through a pedal board. Yeah, I bet at the every year at the Earthquaker Devices booth, they have people coming and playing like harps through the pedal boards and stuff like that. Maybe we'll see a flute there this year.
Maybe we will.
Let's move on to the topic.
Yeah, this.
I mean, we've already been talking about it a lot because we're getting excited. It's this week, guys. But
this first topic is guitar-related instruments.
we wrote our topics in reverse order, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry, I flipped it. I just didn't remember that I flipped it. This first topic is NAMM necessary? It's from Todd Malvano. Basically saying, in this day and age of digital whatever, is NAMM necessary?
Well, that's not the specific question he asked. Let's see if we can pull up the screen grab and actually.
You grabbed a screen?
I grabbed a screen. He says NAMM 2019. Is it really necessary anymore? Oh, then Mark Schwartz chimed in and he said, for the consumer, not so much. For a company, it's a great place in a network and find partnerships. I think people, like the general public, kind of loses sight of what NAMM is for.
Right.
And because of that, I think a lot of smaller builders and a lot of builders that have stars in their eyes and big dreams also lose sight of what it's for. Like, you don't go to NAMM and you don't pay the extreme amount of money that it costs to display there to sell to directly to consumers. To get you on the map for consumers to find you. It really is a place for builders to network with retailers. Like, that's the core purpose of NAMM.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of companies use it as a time to announce new products that consumers are excited about. But that's how they get the retailers excited about them.
So I actually,
The retailer's like, oh, all these consumers are excited about this new thing you put out. Let's talk about, how many orders we're going to put in this year.
right. And so I think that's kind of what one of the things that changed this year. And I don't know if it's happened in previous years, honestly. But this year when it did happen, I was very aware of it.
I wonder what it is. The
Is
suspense is killing me.
Strymon and Earthquaker both did product launches, product reveals
Sure.
prior to NAMM. So instead of doing like what we consider the typical like, come to NAMM to see our new thing, come to NAMM to
I
see
feel
our
like
new
that's
thing.
the way it's been, though.
Has it? I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't really super been paying attention, but I know people.
And in this week that this episode is published, and last week because we record this episode in the past. I don't know if you know that. Things get recorded in the past and then played in the future. All sorts of other stuff has been announced since those two products.
Right. Well, and it'll be kind of interesting, but I think that is something where because of, and this is kind of the root of the question of is NAMM necessary, is it's about hype building.
Oh, yeah.
But what you're doing is instead of building hype off of NAMM by like, oh, we're going to announce this thing at NAMM and like, Premier Guitar is going to be there and all these different companies are going to be there, like film our stuff and whatever, which that's another thing it's really good for is marketing.
Sure.
I mean, but the broader, and that's a really interesting question anyway, to me. But the broader thing is like now in the case of like Strymon and Earthquaker, it's not a dealer going to the show trying to find out what's new at NAMM, putting out a thing, maybe they have like a what's new thing and they're trying to run a news section on their website while at NAMM. And so they go, oh, we went to the Strymon booth on Thursday and here's pictures of the new stuff. It sounds really cool. And then they get 100 comments on their blog. And so they have to go back on Friday and say, hey, Strymon, we need to set up a meeting because the people who shop at our store really, really want this product.
Right.
So let's figure this out. Now, Strymon is saying, this is what we're doing at NAMM. This is what NAMM is going to be about for us. The retailer is already fielding comments and whatever, like, oh, did you see what Strymon launched today?
Yeah, when can I order this?
When
When can I order this? Yeah.
When can I order this? So now they're already going in. Strymon doesn't have to wait because these dealers are going to be coming in and saying like, I want this. My consumers are like banging on my door to get a product that I don't even have yet.
Right.
How do we make this happen? I think that's something that has changed.
Sure. I mean, but still, in the grand scheme of things, like NAMM exists for those company retailer relationships. Yeah. If those relationships no longer benefit from NAMM anymore, then we're going to see NAMM dissolve.
Sure.
Like NAMM is never going to be like a thing like where it only exists for consumers to go and check out stuff.
Well, NAMM,
because there just isn't budget for it.
NAMM at a fundamental level has never existed for consumers to go check out stuff. And so NAMM, Winter NAMM 2019, there is no public day. There has never been a public day.
I heard that if you go to a food truck and pay someone $50, they'll get you in.
That might be true. I've always heard that Summer NAMM has a public day, but I also can't find that confirmed anywhere.
I think it's the last day of it or something like that. I went to that like 2 years ago, and yeah, there was a public day, but it's like Summer NAMM's way smaller, like way smaller.
Yeah. The other funny thing with Winter NAMM, at least the years that I've gone and stayed on Sunday's like the slowest day.
It is.
Sunday's the chillest day.
It is.
Actually, Sunday is like the best Winter NAMM day. Thursday's probably pretty good, but Thursday's pretty
good.
But Sunday, the problem with Sunday is
like the first 2/3 of Thursday are pretty good, and then everyone who is arriving to be there Friday got there early enough that they cram in on Thursday because they just can't wait, and then like it turns like to nonsense.
Oh, okay.
The back end of
the
Thursday.
one downside with Sunday is by the time Saturday is over, basically Earthquaker at NAMM They set up like a coffee station. They're doing like in previous years, they've had like a pour over station in their booth. But on Sunday, basically Sunday is just all of the Earthquaker employees huddling over their coffee, like trying to not fall over. And it's not just them; it's everybody. Like
everyone's nursing the remnants of 3 days of hangovers.
yeah. So I mean, the downside of Sunday is like it's a lot. Like there are a lot fewer people there, but also all of the companies are just like, why does Sunday even exist? Could we just end this on Saturday?
I think everyone who exhibits at NAMM wishes NAMM was 2 days long.
Just Thursday, Friday.
Just Thursday, Friday, and they could get
Saturdays.
out of there.
Saturday's pretty
Saturdays,
crazy.
yeah. Everyone's been through the meat grinder on Saturday. Like we always go to an after party Friday, and everyone's like, "Yeah, man, we're having cool." And then you go to the after party Saturday night, and everyone's just like,
"Oh yeah,
like destroyed." Just gone.
We
and I can't believe I have to do it again tomorrow.
We're going to be recording at one of those after parties, right?
Why not both?
For our future.
4K no los dos.
I mean, technically on schedule, we could record 2 episodes at NAMM.
No, I'm saying we split the content between the 2 different parties.
Oh, okay.
That way we don't work so hard
That
at
way
each
we don't
party.
work so hard.
Yeah, because we're going to need an episode the Monday after NAMM, and we're not recording that tonight.
Nope.
So is NAMM necessary, Steve? I mean, you could make a point that in these modern times there is so much direct like sales, like from companies direct to the audience, to the final destination of the product, that all those companies don't need NAMM.
I would be interested in seeing for a company like, say, Orange, what kind of sales boost or traction or whatever they get off of NAMM releases versus like a GitCon release or TGU release type of a thing.
Okay.
I would be interested in seeing, and obviously for either GitCon or Tome and Gear University, those are pretty new things. There's not necessarily going to be numbers.
Sure.
Or even something.
I'd be more interested in seeing a NAMM release versus them just taking a risk on like, let's release a new product in April.
Right. Well, I'm just thinking more in terms of like smaller trade shows, like NAMM versus
like the AMP show or something.
LA AMP show. Yeah. Well, I've heard really mixed reviews on that one.
Me too.
Or NAMM versus like Sweetwater Gear Fest. Which Sweetwater Gear Fest is a retailer doing it, so that's a mutually beneficial arrangement. The only issue is that Sweetwater is only going to invite their builders, like the people that they are already supporting. And it's going to be a smaller thing. The idea with NAMM is, it's a one-stop shop for everybody, unless it's Behringer or apparently Mesa Boogie doesn't have a booth.
Really, the people who are going to decide whether or not NAMM is worth it or not are the retailers. Mm-hmm. If the retailers say like, why are we taking time out of our normal work schedule to send someone to Anaheim to make sales deals that they could make over the phone? When that stops, then NAMM will no longer be useful.
Well, and I think you're starting to see that a lot already, because from what I've heard, like the actual organization has been pretty aggressive in terms of like selling. One, they've changed the way I say selling. I'm going to say, the way they sell badges, and people are going to be like, I thought you said you couldn't just buy a badge. Well, you can't. But the way they sell badges to like member companies or companies who have presented before has changed. They don't give as many badges away as they used to.
Right.
They but they're more aggressive. Like literally, the last couple of years, people have said that by the time they flew back home, wherever home is, they already had emails saying, get ready for NAMM next year, reserve your booth now.
Right.
Where it's like they're like, and the general feedback from these manufacturers has been that, the organization itself comes off as being desperate, comes off as they're trying to stem a tide of something.
Interesting.
And I don't know how the numbers have played off. I do know
last year empty space.
Yeah, last year there was more empty space, but they did open a new hall last year.
That's true.
So that plays some of it, but it's not like there's a waiting list. So that could also be part of why they're being aggressive, is because they have more room to fill. But last year overall felt more calm than 2017 did. I don't know if that's because I'm getting more used to it or because it was actually calmer.
Who knows? Let's move on to the next ad.
Knows? The
shadow knows. Let's ask the shadow.
The shadow.
Let's get the shadow on the phone. And he can tell us what he knows. He can tell us what lurks in the hearts of men.
Yeah, he can. This week's episode is sponsored by some sponsors.
We have sponsors, Steve?
We
Are they
do.
Duplo?
They are not Duplo. This week's episode is sponsored by Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture.
Oh, awesome. We love those guys. We're
do.
going to be bunking with them here in a couple days.
That's true. Sinusoid, they make power
Cables and
cables. They do make that too. They make power cables and speaker cables under their Sasquatch. It's not a brand. It's their Sasquatch line. These are heavy duty cables. I don't know why. That's weird.
Interesting sound effect, Steve. There's a good sound effect too.
Hey,
Heavy duty.
speaking of fart
This
sounds,
is a terrible sponsorship we're running right now.
Solo, a Star Wars story is on Netflix now.
Is it now?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it eventually.
Have you seen it before?
I haven't. I was
Well,
waiting for it to come to Netflix.
There you go.
But anyway, if you're looking for like a speaker cable solution or some kind of power cable solution, check out the Sinusoid Sasquatch line. They're made to the same they're not made to the same specifications in terms of the components themselves, but they're made to the same high quality standards that you have come to expect from a Sinusoid product. If you haven't come to expect any quality from a Sinusoid product,
You've never had a Sinusoid product.
exactly.
There's a tagline right there.
There you go. Sinusoid Pro Audio Couture.
They make cables.
And smiles. What other sponsor spot are we doing right now, Ryan?
I don't know. You tell me.
Well, this episode is also brought to you by Chase Bliss Audio.
I knew you were going to do Chase Bliss.
How did you know?
It was in my head. I could see it. It was a premonition. I was like, Chase Bliss? Chase
Well, what do you
Bliss?
want to say about Chase Bliss?
Chase Bliss makes pedals that are more creative than you are. That's my
that's
tagline for him.
I'm interested in seeing. Do they have something coming out at NAMM? I feel like they do.
They do. I forget what it is.
I don't know what it is.
I thought he told me, but now I
You
can't
probably
remember.
did, and you probably were like, "Wow, that's so incredible! I better drink a lot."
Maybe I'm
forget
tripping
it.
though. Maybe I'm tripping. I mean, they just came out with a Dark World.
They did. That was pretty recent. So maybe they're not coming.
NAMM has
has
already cooked my brain, and I haven't even gone to it yet.
There we go. Chase Bliss Audio. They have delays, reverbs, drives, fuzzes, EQs,
modulations,
flange, trem,
They've got that
basically
flange,
chorus. That's
They've
pretty
got
much
a
everything.
dirt box.
2019 year of the phaser. Go check out chaseblissaudio.com if you're looking for like basically a pedal that might be more creative than you are. We doing any more sponsors right now?
Chase Bliss pedals. Go check them out. Do we want to split the other two for later?
Well, let's do the other two later.
Let's save the other two for later. Put them in our back pocket. Let's do another ad.
Yeah, this ad was sent by Jason. Oh, did you want to talk about it?
No, Steve, you
This
do your
ad
thing.
is sent by Jason Weiser. It says the seller, I guess, says, I think this amp has blown a capacitor or something, so it will need some repair. Great amp for gigs and beginners if it was function. Oh, and then the person who posted this, Jason Weiser, adds on, if it was functioning.
So we don't have the actual ad. He was just paraphrasing the ad. And
Yeah,
had
he
posted
took a screenshot.
screen grab. Yeah.
$20 for a non-functioning with the chassis already removed from the cabinet, which is 2/3 of the work.
Right.
Gutted crate GFX 212T.
Is a $20 2x12 speaker cab.
$20 2x12.
It's basically what we have back here. I think Steve is going to try to. Are you really going to try to pull it out right now? Oh man.
Talk about how much you love this amp.
I use this cabinet all the time. Why? Because it's the only 2x12 cab that I have, and that's way more convenient than hauling out my 4x10 PV that I have. It's light. It gets loud. It gets so loud that it's torn a hole in the speaker. But it sounds fine. That's my review of it. It sounds fine. Steve is holding up this cab. It's basically the exact same thing, right?
This is exactly the same thing. I just removed the grill cloth because it was super torn up.
Was it the same amp?
This is the same amp.
The same exact amp.
This is the same amp. And then I did make one That hole is really big.
It gets bigger
now.
every time I play it. Like the volume of me playing rips the hole bigger. One day it's just going to completely rip out. But you made a wood back panel for it. So it's funny to me that you made that perfectly fitting closed back panel on it, and it's like technically got a big front port on that cab. Like it's not like with the closed back cab, you're trying to get like increased air pressure inside the cab for a different sound, but it's got a gaping hole in the front, so it's like kind of self-defeating. You could have just left it open. I'll wait for you to get on the mic to defend your position on that. If you even have a defense, Steve. You're putting the room
That's
back
actually
together.
not true, Ryan.
Okay, tell me why it's not true.
It's actually really common design in bass amp cabinets
Well,
to have a closed back with a front port.
you did put it together for use with bass.
That's right. And my goal was to increase the bass response by closing the back, so
Okay.
I'm not losing low end out
Okay.
out the rear.
So you're not a lunatic then?
I'm not a lunatic.
Okay. We've established Steve is not a lunatic.
Also, because it's a
On that
cabinet, part of that too was that was how I mounted the 1/4-inch plug. Granted, like you could, I guess, hang it off of wherever.
You could have done a partial back panel on
You
it.
could do a partial back panel. I could have just done what you did and not connected to anything, and then just fry my amp.
Too soon, Steve. Too soon.
Ah, yes. Yeah, no, I did that at home. I took a bunch of measurements. That's actually like I think it was a long time ago, but I think that's like 3/8 or 1/2-inch birch ply. So that's like, I got it from Home Depot, but that's the same type and like type of ply that was used for like Mesa Boogie.
Oh yeah.
Speaker
The
cabinets.
back panel is higher quality than the rest of it. But
The rest of it's MDF
I mean, you got that
for free.
For free. He paid $20 for his. Still
Yeah.
a screaming deal for a 2x12 cab. That will freaking move some air. I can't vouch
Yeah.
for like the quality of the speakers. I don't know if I put better speakers in there, if it would improve like the audio quality of my live show.
I think they're perfectly acceptable OEM speakers. They're not like super loud. They're not incredibly efficient.
Sure.
But they are like they're the same speakers that like Ampeg I think was using in a bunch of stuff during the same era.
When I use that thing with the acoustic head on it, I am definitely the loudest thing in the band. And I don't turn all the way up.
Well, I mean, you could run the
I probably don't turn up over 2.
You could run that acoustic head into like an 8-inch speaker and you would still be the loudest person in your band.
It would melt down. It would glow burning hot red and then catch on fire. So yeah, I think Jason was making fun of this ad at first, and then I think he thought about it through a few comments, and then he ended up going and buying
it was kind of like, it seemed like it was posted like kind of as a joke, and it kind of is. Like at first glance you're like, wow, that's dumb. Also, if you just think it's like a blown capacitor and you already took it apart, like why didn't you fix it? But myself and several other people were like, dude, $20 2x12.
Yeah.
Like if you've ever been interested in just moving air, this is your chance.
Yeah, seriously.
That or like eat a bean burrito. Hey-o.
Yeah, I vote for throw the amp away. Don't even try to fix it, and just use this as a cab for sure.
Well, I would wonder too, like if the amp power's on. So the reason with this one, I didn't have to remove the chassis from this,
Right.
because the guy who owned this had removed the amp in order to use it as a recording preamp.
Oh my gosh.
No freaking joke.
Like he was trying to treat it like a rack amp or something like that.
Yeah. For like his pop punk band.
Of course.
Did you know who I'm talking about?
Was it Ben?
No, it was Casey.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know
who was like the guitar player for Ben's band. Not Casey Babcock.
Oh, right. No, I know.
Yeah.
I thought it was Little Ben for some reason.
No, it was Little Ben's friend.
People we've never mentioned on the show, and there's no reference for them.
What
at
if they
all.
listen to the show?
I'd be surprised.
I would be less surprised because Casey was playing on the local scene for a long time.
I'd be surprised if Little Ben was listening.
Yes, I would as well.
Yeah, we won't get into that. So yeah, $20, no brainer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have gone to pick this up for $20
because I don't need it.
because I've already got one.
Yeah. Oh, because you've already got one.
Maybe I could get it to replace the speaker that's slowly tearing, but I kind of want to see what happens to that speaker. I want to see it slowly tear and just become non-functional. It kind of goes well with the aesthetic
It's gonna
of my
get
band.
there. It's my only I was gonna say if it tears, it could like
I've
cause
got
some
that.
issues and damage the amp, but I don't even think that's true.
I don't think that's true either. I think the amp will survive no matter what it's connected to. I shouldn't say that with my history.
Yeah, you really
Um,
shouldn't.
Do we want to do the next topic?
Yeah, let's do the next topic.
And then we'll bookend it with some more sponsorships.
Let's do that. Oh, actually, I guess
make
before
that money.
before we get to the next topic, did we mention on the last episode that we're shutting down the YouTube Patreon and we're going to a single podcast Patreon for all of our housekeeping?
Yeah, so everyone on the $10 level will be in the inner circle.
That's right. That's
And
right.
so that it's not this confusing thing for us anymore where people don't understand why they joined on one Patreon and it didn't get them into the inner
Yeah.
circle.
So if you'd like to support our show directly through financial means, head on over to patreon.com/60cyclehumcast. And that will take you to our Patreon page. You can support the show for as little as $1 a month. At $4, you're basically giving us a cup of coffee a month. And it's good. It supports the show. We talked about
I don't drink coffee.
We talked about it.
You drink booze though.
We talked about it a little bit, going to things like Sweetwater Gear Fest, Winter NAMM, Summer NAMM, different things that just make the show run.
We've gone to Cowerfest before.
Yeah. Sometimes there are things that make this show run, and sometimes making this show run means justifying to our wives that this is at least a zero-sum game at worst for us. So
sometimes we appear to make what looks like minimum wage when we pay ourselves a little bit.
Yeah, and then
making
Ryan
the show.
factors in all of his additional editing time and realizes that's a lie.
And then I get very sad and I sit on the ground for a while.
Rock
But seriously though, if every single person who listened to this show and watched YouTube videos from us donated
$1,
$1 a
$2,
month, it would literally be life-changing for me. And it would be life-affirming for Steve.
Yeah.
It would validate
I would have to do something.
It would validate your existence.
No, I would have to do something.
It would change our
less than. I would have to do something more than be like, oh, I'm saving up for a fun guitar at the end of the year. Like that would be a game changer.
If every single person who consumed content from us donated $1, it'd change my tax bracket. I'm just gonna say it.
I don't think it would change.
And then I'd be paying more money to the government, which puts asphalt on roads and teachers in schools. Do you want teachers in schools and you want them to be able to drive there on the roads? Why aren't you supporting us?
It's basic trickle-down economics,
it's your
guys.
Civic
Give
duty.
money to Ryan so you can have better roads.
How am I going to pay my taxes if you don't give me money?
Anyway, I'm going to promote the Inner Circle or some level of crowdfunding every week until we hit 100 patrons. Right
That's
now we
Steve's
have
goal.
56. And then I'll stop talking about it except when we have new ones, which is our promise to people who support that I will name you on the show when you join up. All
He
right.
wants that 100.
I'm already getting tired of that.
Yeah, me too.
This next topic was sent in by Emily Harris. She wants to know something about things.
She asked, guitar-related instruments you'd like to learn, like the oud or the pedal steel or mandolin.
Is it pronounced out or ode?
Who cares?
Okay.
I've always wanted to learn to play the banjo because I'm not obnoxious enough as it is.
That was the same instrument that I remember when I was a kid, my dad saying that he was like, if I had time, I would learn how to play banjo. Now he's retired. I feel it's like there's a part of me that feels like, oh, I should just buy him a banjo.
They're not expensive.
They're not for like a Deering good time is like
You
what,
should
a couple
get
$100
him
bucks,
a
$300
banjo ukulele because the learning curve is real small on a ukulele, and it gets him that banjo sound and experience.
I don't think it's about the sound. Like I think it's like
He
about
wants
the
the whole-
banjo.
he wants the
I mean, I don't think he would necessarily know out the gate, but I think he's like he would want to be on his tablet going like how to play banjo tutorials.
I think banjo is mostly right hand technique. You get that banjo rhythm going, and then you just get your left hand to keep up with it.
Yeah.
Just keep moving with the left hand because your right hand is doing the work. It's doing the dance for you.
Clearly, the Good Time is not the Deering banjo I was thinking of. There's a cheaper one because the Deering Good Time is $700.
I don't know. The from what I've heard, the Good Time like is never fully in stock. Like those things just
really?
fly out the door. So the price might have gone up over the years. Um, maybe that's not the case anymore. I don't know. I've always wanted to learn to play the mandolin too. I like ukulele. I like tiny instruments for some reason, even though I'm a big boy with big hands. And the mandolin is kind of like the small instrument if you think about it, because
Yeah.
you're doubling up strings on there. You
Mm-hmm.
got 8 strings in a space that's smaller than a ukulele, and they're heavy steel strings, so it's like an extra level of difficulty. But it's got that sweet, sweet tone, you know. Mandolins sound great.
You know, the Deering Good Time is $490,
Okay.
and the Deering Good Time banjo ukulele is also $490. So I don't know what I was thinking of I thought was cheaper, but
I don't know,
whatever.
man.
Anyway, yeah. For me, I don't know. It's not a.
I mean, we're talking about stringed fretted instruments here. That would
Yeah.
be relatively easy to move over to if you've already kind of mastered or are familiar with guitar.
Man, I feel like steel guitar would be really fun. But
Like
I don't
lap
know if
steel, or
that's
you want to go full pedal?
like full pedal.
I had a lap steel for a while, and it's a different beast, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know. And that's the thing.
I feel like it's easier to jump over to mandolin or even banjo than to lap steel. 'Cause
well, it's a completely different technique. It's not just like relearning the note positions, but now you're not playing horizontally. Like, you know, you're talking about like mandolin. Like my daughter has a half size violin.
it's a completely
and,
different
like-
way of thinking about it too, because like with a mandolin and with a banjo, you can still like lay down some chord shapes.
Yeah.
You're thinking about it completely different with a lap steel
No,
or a
I
pedal
know.
steel.
Well, and also like, you know, with the violin thing, like I could take my kid's violin and hold it like forward up here,
Right,
like,
right.
with a guitar pick and like pick out some fun stuff already. Like,
I had a good time once messing around with a cello. I know it doesn't have frets, but I feel like I could get into cello. Have a good old time with
cello.
that. Cello.
All you do is you take it and you turn it, and cello, it's a bass.
You think you'd ever want to get into like stand-up bass or anything like that?
I mean, I just can't fathom it because they're so space. They're space
Well, you
hogs.
could get one of those like electric ones, just like playing a
That's true.
broomstick.
I have thought about getting like an electric one, like up and down. I see them every once in a while. I go like, that would be really cool. And I stand behind it for like 30 seconds and realize that I'm not standing in the right place and I don't know where the right place is.
Right, right.
But that would be cool.
It's still a physically imposing thing to play because
yeah.
you're just like out like this.
Yeah. I'd be down to, I think I would enjoy that, but that's like not really learning a new instrument.
It kind of is though.
It's a different technique, but the strings are the same.
It's the same as playing electric bass, as if you just put 6 strings on a harp and told someone to like who plays guitar to knock themselves out. Well, I guess you can still fret the bass strings. There's just not frets. Like you can hold them down on the soundboard. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, so what
it's pretty different.
what I'm saying
The
is
tonality range is still there, and you're still trying to hit like the same kind of bass lines.
what I'm saying is it is different, but because the instrument, I would say that the instrument itself is similar enough that if I was given an upright bass and like an hour a day to work on it, like I could play upright bass live 2 weeks from now. Nothing complicated, but like I could do church music on an upright bass in 2 weeks if I was given one and didn't have to
I feel like that's ambitious.
and didn't have to juggle kids.
Sure.
We used to have an upright bass at the church.
I know the K.
I'm pretty sure I know Adams played that for a service. I think I may have played it for a service.
For a full service.
Yeah. Adams definitely played it for a full service.
All right.
And that's just an instrument that was sitting around the church
Yeah.
that we sold for like $800.
Should have bought that thing. Just have it as furniture.
Yeah, well, I think that, I mean, that sounds really cheap. I actually think that was like all it was worth, but it sounded like a lot of money at the time.
It did. It was a cool one.
It was
though.
an old one. But it was a K.
It was a K.
Every kiss begins with K.
Boom.
Yeah, I don't know. Upright. I think I would lean lap steel. I mean, I'm still supposed to be learning how to play ukulele. I just don't get that thing pulled out nearly often enough.
Pull out your ukulele,
I
Steve.
know I need to. It's only this big.
It's big enough.
Gets the job done.
I thought it would be fun to get a resonator, which I know is technically a guitar, but it's like the tonality is so different. And if you have it set up for slide, that's like a whole different thing. I don't want one set up for slide. I want a fretting one.
Right.
But then like the opportunity for me to actually ever play one. I mean, that's really the deal. Like, yeah, I could go get a mandolin easy. I could go get a fiddle easy. I could get what was this thing I was just talking about? A resonator easy.
Yeah.
I have no purpose for it. I have nowhere I'm going to use it. I have ukuleles that I only just play at home. I don't have any use for them, like performance-wise or songwriting-wise or recording-wise or anything like that. And that's really what it comes down to is like, do you have a use for these things? And these days I just don't.
Right.
Every time I go on a camping trip, I wish I had a banjo.
Because you want to.
I just want to hang out by the campfire and play banjo. Scare city folk away.
There we go.
That was a hard thing to say. Scare city folk away. Say that 10 times fast.
Scare city folk away. Scare city folk away. Scare city folk away. That was
You
3
said
times.
it 3 times. That's enough.
Well, you know, Ryan, if you had that banjo, I bet you could get your strings from D'Addario.
I could get them from D'Addario,
Yeah.
Steve.
And speaking of D'Addario, this episode is brought to you by D'Addario XL strings.
Which I'm holding right here in my left hand, Steve.
They have 6 different models in their portfolio: the nickel wound, the pro steels, the half rounds, the pure nickel, the chromes, and the EXP coateds. The EXP coateds they're a coated string.
They're coated. They coated them. They're in a coat.
The D'Addario XL lineup gives you I said D'Addario again. D'Addario XL lineup.
D'Addario.
At least that time I caught myself, not you. It gives you like a wide variety of build styles. You know, again, like steel or half round or whatever that allow you to find the perfect feel and tone for your playing style. So whether you're looking for a bright tone like the Pro Steels or the jazzy mellow of the Chromes. Why am I moving away from the microphone?
I don't know.
D'Addario delivers industry standard quality up and down their string portfolio. They're made in the United States. You know where they're made, Ryan?
New York?
They are made in New York. That's
New
right.
York City?
Get a rope. get some strings.
Get some strings.
So head over to D'Addario.com to find the XL string that's right for you.
Yeah. I use them.
Yeah,
I've been using this.
I use them too. Those are the EXL 110s.
This is a 10 pack. I've used 6 of them already. I bought this pack. That proves I use them.
Proof.
It's proof. It's physical proof. It's physical proof.
You probably need to buy some more because you got a lot of guitars to restring.
I actually do need to buy some more because I need to catch up on my restringing soon. Who else is this episode brought to us by?
This episode's also brought to you by you, the listener, the viewer.
Of course.
By Gun Street Wiring Shop.
Gun Street.
Sean at Gun Street is super responsive to email, and he will work with you to put together. Is he the only guy who answers emails? That's the only person I've interacted with is Sean. Anyway, if you have like some ideas, maybe you have a Les Paul like me, and you're like, maybe I'm not sure what I want to do. Well, tell him what kind of music you play. Tell him kind of what your sound is or the sound you think you want, and he'll shoot you some ideas of like what might work, or just say, hey, get one of our off-the-shelf 50 styles Les Paul kits or whatever. They got Telecaster, Stratocaster, basses. You know, if you got a electrical guitarish instrument, he can probably put something together for you.
Yeah, he'll hook you up.
Yep.
He's got all kinds of crazy ideas. I'm working on some stuff with him right now behind the scenes.
Are you?
I can't wait to put together.
Are you now?
Yeah. All right. Should we hit this last ad? And
Yeah,
get
this last
out
ad
of
was
here?
sent by Aaron Abubo. It's on Reverb. This is a Keeley Compressor Pro signed by Ron Keeley.
Signed by good old Ron Keeley.
Here's my Keeley Compressor Pro signed by Ron Keeley. There's a blemish on the front of this unit.
Bert Keeley.
It's picture number 3. Email me with any questions. Thanks for looking. And Aaron messages him and says, is this signed by the real Ron Keeley? Yes, it is signed by Ron himself. It's the last pick. I'm guessing if you sent Ron the last pick, he could verify.
You know what? A pedal signed by Ron Keeley is pretty cool, but I mean, I've always wanted to get a pedal signed by Joseph Scott.
Oh, good, Joseph Scott.
Good old Joseph Scott.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Josh Corte over at Chase Bliss.
Josh Corte?
You know, Josh sponsors the show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Chase Bliss. They're sponsors of this very program. I like Juan Cusack's pedals. I'd love to have a pedal signed by Juan Cusack.
I don't know if that really fits with the joke, since Juan is just the Spanish version of the name John.
You killed it, Steve.
I mean, that's like if I said, what about Rich Matthews over at Matthews Effects? I mean, Rich and Rick are...
They're pretty close. They're all pretty close, Steve.
Yeah.
Figure out one for Grant Wilson. Graham.
Greg Wilson? Oh, Graham Wilson.
Graham Wilson. I'd love to get a pedals. I'd love to get a woodcutter signed by Graham Wilson.
Good old Graham Wilson.
Good old Graham Wilson over at Big Ear.
Yeah. Have you ever gotten a pedal from Lisa Wright from Pelican Noise Works?
Lisa Wright? Obviously, we're just having fun with the fact that this person doesn't know who Robert Keeley's real name is.
Yeah.
What Robert's real name is. This Ron Burt Keeley, and there's really nothing else to this ad other than the fact that we're probably scalping it off of Aaron Abubo from using it in his podcast.
They recorded after this was posted,
and he posted this in our group, so it's fair game.
It is fair.
It's fair game. Thanks, Aaron, for giving us content for our own show that you could have used for your show.
Yep. Thanks again to all of our sponsors. Thanks. Everyone for watching this show. Leave a comment. Tell us how we wasted your time or whatever. That's not our fault, man.
If they're going to do that, they're going to do it in the first couple of minutes of the episode.
I hope
Steve.
so.
Go support one of our sponsors. Buy some strings. Buy a thing. Buy a wiring harness.
And tell them that we sent you.
Exactly.
This week's song was sent in by Toon Warrior. I don't know who that is.
Sounds cool,
this
though.
This person did not say what their name was.
Sounds extreme.
He says, or she, I guess I don't really know.
Steve,
they.
That's a non-gendered.
This is
right
my
there.
take on the sort of, quote, modern rock or indie rock of today, but I had no interest in recording that sound without a substance, unlike so many of the bands in that genre. Despite what I was going for, though, I like classic rock way too much, and it shows, I think. Also, one of the only songs I didn't write a guitar solo for, so this song is called Lost Lucid Dream.
Can't wait to check it out.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
I am a spectre drifting before life and empty, falling victim to the lies of a soft-stricken memory. The flows between colors only found in sweet dreams. I looked into some distant strobe light, it still seems. A convict on the loose, an hourglass on my mind. Dreams I've been stealing, but I just can't seem to find one that feels to hold where compassion once lay. But the hourglass falls me to dismay. Yeah, I'm losing feeling in my mind at night. I'm losing feelings again. Losing it again. Oh yeah. If I steal awake, I have built a break. Gilded gates of paradise within the golden cage of time, and I'm losing it. There's so shining when there's so much to lose. I walked off from the beach, was set in my shoes. Well, I bet were souls of good intent, but I drift off to a plane where I can't see what they've said. Half awake, I wonder, is it me who lost my way? But I've forgotten the real question, and I fall back into dismay. Lost in